Right, can't delay it any longer. It's the moment of truth. It's time to cut it to its shape and size. And this is the thing that worries me most, because normally I would be making tables that are square, that are rectangular, that are not cut into two walls. And the Victorian house, very uneven walls. Thankfully, the partition on this side's new, so that's square. But this end, not so much. So what I'd done was I went and we made a template just using offcuts of hardboard and some hot glue. And I've got the dimensions. After making the template, we went back again and measured again, because I'm not going to get another chance at this, so it's got to be right. The current template, that takes it up to where the existing temporary desk is that I put in, so it's actually going to the very end. So let's see how we get on. All right, fingers and everything else crossed. Can the lead ends get up and through? Nearly. Needs a bit of persuasion, that, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's a bit more.
That's a USB, so that's perfect.
For like a laptop read or something. Mm-hmm. Right, so it needs a bit more.
Mm-hmm. I'd say more at the top than the bottom. The bottom seems rather than the...
Right, okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I see.
But it probably needs both as well.
Yeah, just a bit more. Right folks, so here's where we're at. Everything is cut to size, finally, after plucking up the courage to do it. Happy with it turned out, bang on with the measurements, so fingers crossed all will fit well. Patience is the key on the next bit really, because we've now got a situation where we're starting to, not say the home straight, but we're getting there. So we've got to work on finishing all of it. It's currently at 80 grit, so there's a lot of it, the swirls, so we need to go patiently through the grits: 120, 180, 240, 320, 400, 800, 1500, 3000. And then also we've got the little infills. Now there's three ways I attack these. The one that I've already done is to use a little bit of Glasscast 3 within some parts of the resin work, so that's already been done. And then where the Burr, you know, where these bits are here. For the larger ones, I use my wood knot repair system for kind of these, and then the smaller ones we go at it with the black 038 CA glue and the activator. It's just the amount of time that goes into this bit. If you want to get it, hopefully, you know, as good as you possibly can, right, perfect if you like, and it just requires, you know, a patience, you know, and just take your time. I've also got on the underside to do the C channel, to do the reinforming. It's a very sturdy board, like, but I'm going to put 2 pieces of C channel underneath for the old belt and braces approach to it. So enough chit chat. Let's get on with it. Right, here's where we're at. The first coat of oil has gone on and has really popped. Both the resin and the burr oak, really happy with how it's looking at the moment. I can't remember if I've said this in the videos because obviously it's filmed over quite a period of time, but just to recap, at this stage the oak was sanded to 240 grit. Now I'll go, depending on what type of wood, 180, sometimes 240, depending, you know, that. And the resin at this stage is at 400 grit. So the micro scratches are sanded out, they're gone, and it's looking good as it is. But what we'll do now is build up the layers of the hard wax oil. So just applying it really thinly. And the underside has had 3 coats, the top is probably going to get 4. And I've harped on about this stuff for a very long time. I've been doing this for a little while now. And this is Heidelberg Pro Lignum 877 line. It's their hard wax oil. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested in it. I mix it with just a little bit of white spirit. Fantastic stuff. It gives a real hard wearing finish. I won't diss other companies, although I may have some videos on my channel a little bit, but there are some much more well-established, well-known brands that, in my humble opinion, don't give as good a finish as this stuff. And also, this will dry in about an hour. Good to go for another coat in about 2 hours tops. I don't know if you can say that about some other companies, more well-known, well-renowned. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's going to be the next stage. So what happens then? Now, the hard wax oil goes over everything. I know it won't soak into the resin, but it can form a protective layer on there. So very thin, apply it on everything. Couple of minutes after, by the time I've finished rubbing it in, I just use some kitchen roll, and then any hint of excess, just wipe that off and build up those layers. Once that's done and it's cured, I will then go back to the resin and start polishing it. So it's at 400 now. I'll go 800, 1500, up to 3000, and then I'll use a polishing compound on it. Now that is just my method of working. I've done these kind of things on quite a few occasions now. Might not be how other people work, but that's just how I work, and to achieve like those kind of results and standards that I'm happy with and quite meticulous with, to be honest. Right, I've waffled on enough, so it's time for the second coat of this, and then I'm going to leave it overnight, come back with the third coat tomorrow, and then just build up them layers. Hope that makes sense. Right, we're very nearly there. I just want to take a little bit of time to explain my technique for routing out the grooves for the C channel. I was purposefully vague in the video footage you've just seen there, mainly because I don't want people emulating, copying my routing technique. I've got my trend router here. Now I can control it. Let's get it into the groove. I have my kind of thumb down and I'm pushing that way. What I will say is this: I only route out maybe a millimetre and a half maximum in one go, whereas some people are doing like 3, 4, 5 mil. Gives me that greater degree of control, but I don't really want people copying that technique. That's why I didn't see much of it. Now I have made this simple little jig, just using a bit of hardboard, actually from the template I used for this. And I would normally use my trend vary jig for a job like this, but that has a minimum width and the C channel is narrower than that. So I've got this now, I've got 2 pieces of hardboard hot glued together here, which is the same thickness as the guide bush on my trend router there. So when I pop that in, there's no wobble, it's like sideways wobble, so it's fixed in place properly, and I just need to go up and down the lines. Firstly, for the actual grooves that the C part goes in on the C channel, I use just a straight bit like this. You can see here, this is, I think, a 5 mil bit, and the thickness of the C channel is 3 mil, so it has a little bit of wiggle room either side. And then once I've done those 2 lines, I then route out the middle bit there, and I just use a thicker, I mean I could use that same bit to be honest, but the same straight bit, just very narrow passes, which is just over 3 millimeter thickness, which is the thickness of the C channel, and that slots in, and a few mil either side, which gives it that wiggle room, if that makes sense. Now, the holes here, you would normally see ones that are kind of like a running track. These are just bigger than the actual flathead bolts that are going in, so that gives it that sideways lateral movement. How did I use these? I'll actually put it on I'll show you a little close-up, the bit I used on my drill press. That went through these really well and just needed a bit of sanding up to get the burr off them. So that's how I've done those. Just a little bit of advice, here they are. Stay well away from these alloy threaded inserts. Absolute rubbish. Alright, when you start fixing them in and then the head is threaded and then you can't get them out, waste of time. Just wouldn't even bother your time and energy on them. Stainless steel ones. Okay, now I've got this one here for you to see, and these are what I originally got, but they're too big. So I'm just waiting on an order to arrive now. Actually, some smaller ones, some M6 ones for the central part of that. But it's, you know, get your hands on some stainless steel ones. And then the actual bolts themselves, flathead ones. Let me just show you the ones I'm going to be using on this. There we go, you see them there. All right, to actually fix those in, and that will be this slab finished. All right, so you know, we've got to be careful because it's the other side's actually the polished face side, the top side, that's all done. So I've got like a nice soft fleecy type thing that it's resting on, so it hopefully doesn't get any scratches. But yeah, it's been a big project. It's taken a while. It's taken longer than I would have hoped, various reasons and surgery and stuff. So, but we're nearly there. Yeah, we're nearly there. So I'm just waiting for these threaded inserts to go, get them done, get it flipped over, and then arrange to get it off and into its owner's new home. So looking forward to it.